Morning guys, welcome back. Garage Origin Alpha, Carl here. We are chucking in a 340 litre per hour AEM fuel pump into the EK. So, chucking the interior and everything back in, looking at the seats, and I realise, why aren't we putting the fuel pump in first? There's no point chucking all the stuff in just to pull all of that out, you know? So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pull the old fuel pump out of this bad boy. We are replacing it with this decent looking unit. Like, that's a small jobby, but look how much it flows. So, pretty straightforward kit. Everything comes with it. We'll have a look at the filter sock. I'm not sure if this will actually suit. I'm pretty sure the ones that come with the Hondas are offset, like they do sit off to the side. So we'll take this one out. We'll have a look. We'll compare the two. All that shit look. Oh, don't want to lose this. Do not want to lose this. This little guy here. So that clips onto the bottom there, and that clips through here. So, yep, wait, get back here, get back here. Anyway, let's get this pump out. Oh, beautiful, look at that. Alright, so screwdriver. Pretty sure that's all we need so far. Screwdriver, which there is one back there, and some pliers. Oh, that looks like. How good is that? Oh, yeah, alright. So keep in mind that is low. Anyway, get this bad boy off. One, this is your fuel level sender. A bit dusty, bit of dust. Obviously, if your car is complete, you want to unplug your battery first. First step, battery. You don't want electricity and fuel. Kinda isn't ideal. It's not like the best mixture there. Bad boy off. Sometimes counterintuitive, you want to push on it first and then pull away. So all we're doing is pushing these two tabs down. That is our quick release unit there. Now, I guess the steps for doing this, if the car has been live recently, as in it's run recently, is you want to pull the fuel pump fuse, or simply just unplug it like this, leave these on obviously, and then start the car. So what that's going to do is it's going to use the fuel. It's going to use the fuel in here as much as possible. It'll draw through as much as possible into the motor, and that will kind of alleviate the amount of fuel that will run and drip out of this. So yeah, I don't really need to worry too much myself because this has not run in very, very long time. So we're good, but if the car has run recently, definitely want to get rid of that excess fuel pressure. So, and 1 and 2. Those off to the side like that. And just looking at that, I'm going to go get the shop vac and I'm going to vacuum that up because that's actually, yeah, there's quite a lot of that. So before we get any contamination or anything, I'm just going to pop that back on. Just sit that over the top there. We'll just vacuum up all the loose stuff. Yeah, right, so now we've got it all cleaned up. These bad boys off. See how rank this fuel smells. that does not sound good, lads. Does not sound good at all. Oh no, that is not good. We're up shit creek with this one. Alright, so we have much more work to do for this. Yeah, that's turned to varnish. So when your fuel sits for a long while, quite literally turns to varnish. So now all we have to do is put the pump on this, chuck a backhand, and we should be sweet. But not really. Yeah, a little bit of an issue here, being that the tank is fully rusted out, like completely and utterly cooked. So, initially I had a bloke coming to pick this up, the scrap EK, so that's the donor car. Now it looks like what we'll be doing is pulling the fuel tank out of that. So he was going to come pick it up, he kind of missed the slot during the week, and ever since then, from that point, I've been picking little bits and pieces off, so I haven't called back to get him to come grab it, which has obviously turned out fucking well, because we need a whole fuel tank, and that would have been a nightmare to find, I reckon. So yeah, let's have a look inside the tank. I'll chuck you on this camera so you can see, and you can see exactly what you don't want to find. And now that my garage absolutely reeks of old crappy fuel, time to pull this tank, make some more fumes, boys. So, pretty straightforward. I think there's like 2 straps or something under the car. There's a whole lot of fuel bits and pieces. You can get this bugger open, and I think that's probably the hardest part of this. That one. Okay, something that still works on this car. I need to get out fuel filler and stuff out. Not sure about these ones. I think they might be drilled out, so dare say there is a clamp on the bottom of this guy. So we'll get that off and leave that whole system there, and we'll use that one from that car, make life a bit easier. Yeah, so get this up, get underneath, see what's holding her in. Obviously the fuel line's on top, but I think what I'll do is I'll jack it up as high as possible, just drop the tank straight down, and disconnect it from on top of the fuel tank, and then we'll slide it out. We'll bugger this fricker off back outside and do the same on that one. On and actually went inside the car, took out the fuel pump hanger top, all of that stuff, so make it a bit easier. I don't think there's going to be quite enough flexibility in the hoses to drop the tank and like pull it from the other side, if that makes sense. Get under there with a light. That's pretty straightforward. We got these straps. So there's a strap here. Obviously that's our fuel tank. Does have a bit of a ding in it. These are steel. Does have a bit of a ding in it. I might see if I can get in there and push it back out from inside when it's on the ground. If not, it's no biggie. It's not a big dent, and there's no fuel leaks or anything like that, so it's still good. But yeah, like I was saying, we've got a couple of straps, one here, one on the other side, and then the whole thing should just drop down. I think that's pretty much it. Hopefully there's nothing else holding it on, and hopefully there's not too much fuel in there either. If there is, I will just have to drain it actually. I might get over there and see. I might jack up the front a bit, get it car on a bit more of an angle, and see if there is any fuel in it. Just because, well, it would have sat for quite some time now. Other than that, I'll get the tank out, I'll drag it out and show you what's next. Now I did almost forget to show you guys. There is a little guy here, just up here. Light is all the way over there. So we've got this guy here. The straps are off the tank already, but we've got this guy to get. You can see the clamp just up in there, so that is for the filler neck. So we're going to get that off and kind of wriggle it around and drop it off. And you'll see just above that there's a small clamp as well. Get some more light. Just up here, just above it, there's a small clamp, and that's just I think that's like an overflow, or it's a breather or something for when you are filling up the tank. It's got somewhere to go, with the air and whatnot. So I'm going to get those two off, and you can see when I lower the jack, the whole tank She's coming down too. There's a couple of extra little tiny clips and stuff, little plastic bits and pieces, so want to make sure you get all that crap off and just go around the whole tank, make sure you get it all. And here we have one complete fuel tank. So these are a little bit of a pain to get off, just be patient, just wriggle them around, get them off. These are for the filler neck. There's also this bad boy here, that is the check valve and a breather for fuel tank, like it's the expansion of the fuel. Like when it gets hot, obviously it's going to expand and needs to relieve the pressure. If it does not, well, your tank's not going to fare very well with a whole lot of pressure in it. So make sure you take that off. I actually just cut this one off, this one, because it would not come off easily, and I will reuse the one on that car. Now I guess the main thing is I need to check, make sure this one's not full of rust. There's a little bit of fuel in it too. I think I'm just going to tip it out. I'm not going to try cracking that bung because I don't know if it's going to reseat and go back on without having to reseal it, like with some sealant or something, and I don't want to have to do that. I just want to get out the last little bit of fuel that's left, so we'll just tip this on an angle, get it into a bucket or something, and then we'll put it in a container, take it to the recycling plant. But right now I'm curious, I'm really curious. I should have done this before dropping the tank, but I'm going to see what the internals of this one is like as well. Moment of truth, let's have a gander inside. Have a quick peek. Yeah, give me that. Oh, it's looking good so far. Oh yeah, yeah, look at that. Look at that. This is how it's meant to look, boys. Give me that. Oh. Clip just broke off. That's fine. Again, you can see these filters have an angle on it. Now this is actually a really clean filter, so I will actually reuse this one. It's only a pre-filter, not overly important, not hugely important, but we'll clean it, we'll use it on the new pump. Presume that here's me making a mess. Oh yeah, there's actually quite a lot of fuel in there. I guess the fuel gauge was faulty because it didn't show that much on the gauge when I took it out. So. How good. Alright, so new tank, new old tank from the old car. Gotta get the fuel pump hanger out. Got the old tank out of this bad boy. We rotated the car, give us a bit more room, a bit more light. You can still get under here, get rid of good clean. Probably actually going to move on to doing a lot of the rear suspension stuff tomorrow. So we're going to have arms, sway bar, all of that good stuff. Likely, while the car's just like this, to get in there and do all of that. We've got a couple of other things to do as well actually. Notice that this doesn't have the backing plate, so usually that has a backing plate. And I'm not entirely sure how to get these little plastic clips. You won't be able to see, completely dark. Yep. There's like 4 plugs or clips. I'm going to work out how to get those out without damaging them, or maybe I can drill them out and then use some like M5 or M6 stainless hardware to bolt them back in. But yeah, that didn't have it, so it was kind of just floating around in there like a cock on a sock. Work that out, get that cleaned up. We're going to get the fuel pump on this bad boy, get this back in, and then from there I guess we'll start on that. That'll be another video though, because this one will probably get pretty long with, you know, pulling all this shit out. We're done with the pump. Pump is complete. So, comparatively, size difference, it's not overly big. Well, yeah, it's a little bit bigger. So, all we had to do was change essentially just the length of this tube here to fit this one on. Now it's all good. So that's E85 safe hose as well. So we're good on that front. Pump is E85 and alcohol safe. We can use E85 in this car. Given that we constantly cycle it, it's not good for E85 to sit, and once in a while run a tank of 98 through just to clear it out. But if you're going to run it daily, all the time, it is definitely advised to change all your fuel lines to E85 safe lines, which isn't too hard. Return line and feed line, run it up to the front, use some P-clamps, not overly bad. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to put it back in the new tank, we're going to take the old tank and fuck it right off, And once this is in that tank, we'll put that tank in the car, and that's essentially our fuel pump done on the major part. Then we're going to work out how to fit our filler neck, and I'll show you guys how to set up and run a relay for this bad boy as well. Fuel tank's in, nice and easy, all secure, all good to go. We've still got to get our filler neck, which is this guy here. We're going to get that in. We need to get our plastic covers and everything back on that, protecting it. Need to get the plastic ring that sits around here and holds that flush with the car. We need to get that mounted in there as well. I went and picked up a Trident relay. This is a 30 amp relay, which we're going to mount under this cover here. We're going to run a nice long 15 amp wire all the way to the front of the car. We'll change that fuse to a 15 amp too, to the front of the car, and we should be good. We will use the actual current wiring as the trigger for the relay, so that makes things easier. We'll use that to trigger the relay, and yeah, not really rocket science. Let's get more done.
A few moments later.
We are done. So all of our wiring's done. As you can see, there's enough cable there for it to still be serviceable. You don't want to make it too short, so then when you go to pull it off, you're up shit creek. Yeah, that's it. So we've got our earth, positive, running all the way up, all of that stuff. We've got it all taped up and nicely taken care of here. All of these are taped up, nicely taken care of. Fuel lines are in, it's a new tank. The filter in it's been cleaned. We've got that AEM 430 litre per hour fuel pump in there, so she's a good sized pump. We've got the filler neck, all of that stuff, all the plastics, everything's all clean and back in. We are good to go. Essentially all I need to do to finish this is those 4 screws and we're done. That's pretty much it. I mean, usually you don't have to swap a whole fuel tank to do the fuel pump, but in this instance we did, so we got that covered. Wasn't exactly hard, just a little bit of cleaning, making sure that your new tank is good, and then you just straight back into it. Yeah, so that's it for this video, boys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one.